right, good evening, everybody. It is 7 o'clock on June 7th, 2022. This meeting of the Hingham Select Board is called to order. I'd note this meeting is being held remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, so that the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. Does anyone wish to notify the chair of any personal recording this evening? Seeing none, I would note for the record that participating in tonight's meeting are board members, myself, Bill Ramsey, Chair, Liz Klein, and Joe Fisher. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have two sets of minutes to approve tonight. Joe and Liz, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, excellent. With that, then I'll take the first motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes dated May 27th, 2022.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Liz?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. The motion passes unanimously. Is there a second motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes dated May 31st, 2022.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Liz? Aye.
And the chair is an aye as well. The motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is to consider approval of the agreement with Siemens Industry Incorporated to upgrade all fire alarm initiating devices in Hingham Town Hall. I think we have Kathy Riley and Jeff Peasy who are going to present this this motion this evening. I see Kathy on the line. Let me see if we have Jeff as well.
Yep, I'm here.
All right, Jeff, why don't we have you start off and then we'll go to Kathy. Go ahead, Jeff. Good to see you.
Okay, so you can hear me?
Go ahead.
Yep, so all the devices in the building, the smokes, heat sensors, and the pull stations are no longer being made. So we have to upgrade all the devices. Because if one of the devices goes now, they put a new one in, it will not be compatible with our existing fire alarm panel. So they are actually upgrading a little bit of the fire alarm panel as well. They have to put new control boards in that, and that'll function appropriately with the new devices that we are upgrading.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Kathy, do you have anything to add to the presentation?
Just that Siemens is on the statewide contract, and so that's the source of the vendor and the procurement, and it's 269 pieces of equipment to be upgraded. So that's all I have. It's pretty straightforward.
Great. And Kathy, you said how many pieces? 269?
269.
269. Okay, great. All right, let me turn it over to my colleagues to see if there are any questions. Tonight, Joe, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Sure. I just want to confirm the dollar amount is $82,000, and this is all in the next fiscal year. Is that correct?
Yes. Work starts in the contract that we'll be signing says that the work will start July 1st.
And be completed no later than December 31st.
Yes.
And I think you can anticipate my next question was, which is, are progress payments made, or are they paid all at the end, or what's the sequence of payments?
I'm not sure. I don't think that there are progress payments with this one. I think the outside date there that was to, and Jeff, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but to make sure that we have enough time, you know, on availability with product and things like that. But
yeah, that's correct. The lead time is probably midsummer just to get the parts, and then they're going to probably start, you know, maybe late summer, early fall, from what I heard from them today. And they just wanted that extra time just in case something comes up with the, you know, the actual parts coming in.
Right. And I don't believe there's any progress payments. We typically pay for that when it's completed. I imagine we could pay, like if they did a part of it and we verified that they did it and they invoiced us, we could pay it, but we don't, we wouldn't pay beforehand for that.
Okay, I'm not encouraging it. I'm just wanting to know what our contractual commitment is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no other questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. All right, I'll turn to Liz.
Great. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Jeff. Is the current system Siemens?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
So this is this kind of the latest and greatest new model, or?
Yeah. So that with it, yeah. So these are all original from like 1998. Siemens is proprietary, so they actually, they make the parts.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew this like 3 years ago that they were going to be phased out. So they phased them out. They're basically obsolete. So we get, they're 24 years old.
Right. Okay, good. And so the work will be done during regular town hall hours. Is that fine for all the employees to be in the building?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. This will go pretty quick. They just start changing the stuff right out.
Okay, great. And I do see that it says the payment will be, or the invoice will be sent at the completion of the work.
Mm-hmm.
And this is part of, I know we said it's FY23. This is a budgeted item. Is that right, Michelle?
Yes, this is an approved item from the capital plan. For FY23, we have an appropriation of $84,000 for the project.
Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Liz. Let me see if any members of the public have any questions or comments. Let me turn to let me see if anybody has their hand up. Okay, seeing none. With that, I will entertain a motion.
I will move to authorize the town administrator to sign the agreement with Siemens Industries, Inc. to upgrade all fire alarms initiating devices in the Hingham Town Hall in an amount not to exceed $82,000 with an effective date of July 1, 2022.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye with roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Liz?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. The motion carries unanimously. All right, Kathy, Jeff, thanks very much. Hope you guys have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Next item on the agenda is to consider approval of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Julia Whitney on behalf of the Hingham Community Center for the Back Patio Beer, Wine, and Barbecue fundraising event to be held on Friday, June 17th, 2022, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I believe we have Ms. Whitney on the line.
Yes, hi, hello.
How are you tonight?
Very good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So if you could just tell us a little bit about your event, how many people you anticipate coming, and what you plan to do. So go ahead, the floor is yours.
All right, so all these things are kind of, it's hard to guess how many we're going to get. Of course, we want more than less, but we would like to get 75 to 100 there. We are doing a huge push for the backyard of the community center. I don't know if you guys have been there in the recent future, but we've done many upgrades in there. We did a commercial kitchen, and we did the floors over. The Green Bush grant has helped us out. So the inside is looking real good, but the outside needs some help. So we got 5,000 square foot of green lawn back there, but it's kind of mud lawn right now, and a dilapidated fence. And we really want to bring it up to the next level because, as you guys know, we are a nonprofit and the town does not give us any funding besides the grants that we apply for. So we're really trying to get, weddings, baby showers, private functions in there to actually, uphold, the maintenance of the home. So we are going to hold this from 7 to 10. We've done it in the past. This is probably our fourth one, but we went on hold because of COVID. So we have 4 local breweries. That's Untold Widowmaker, Vitamin C, and Barrel Z. And so they come in and they pour tasting amounts. And then we have Tennessee barbecue. And then they're going to have pulled pork sandwiches and some cornbread and some mac and cheese. So, and then we have a local band, the Back Nine, a bunch of dads from Hingham that are donating their time to come and kind of, do acoustic music. So that's what we're doing. It's gone really smoothly in the past. I'm definitely going to call the police department to get a detail to help with the flow of in and out in the parking if it gets a little congested down there. That's what we're planning to do. We the wine department is Neil Denninger is a local man in town that works with a distributor of wine. So looking to purchase wine from him at a wholesale price. So that's that component of wine beer. I think that's really about it. We really want a tight shop down there. So like 10 p.m., people are going to be gone.
All right. Well, Julie, that sounds like a great event. Appreciate the overview.
Well, we would love you all to come.
All right. Well, excellent. Well, listen, with that lineup, how can we miss it?
We'll comp you some tickets.
No, you don't need to do that. We will gladly pay our own way. We have the we do have the benefit of the chief of police on the line with us tonight, and as our practice with alcohol requests and one-day licenses, we do turn to him for some inputs. Let me turn now to our chief of police to see if he reviewed the application and see if he's comfortable with us moving forward. So, Chief, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Good evening, Bill. Thanks very much. Yeah, I have reviewed the application. I have no issues, and like Miss Whitney said, she's agreed to hire a police detail to assist with any traffic issues and crowds that are down there. So I'm comfortable with the application.
Excellent. Thank you.
May I ask one question? Is there a noise ordinance in town?
Yes, there is.
Yes, we do have a noise ordinance, and that certainly would apply to your event, particularly the hours of operation. So what I would have you do, Julia, if you're concerned about that, maybe just reach out to Mr. Building Commissioner, Mr. Clancy, or maybe our office. We can direct you in the right way just to give you the information regarding that. I think for your event, it would apply to your hours of operations with respect to your event. Joe, would you agree with that?
I agree. Yes.
Okay. Obviously, because the fundraiser is for the outside back patio, we would like to invite people to actually see what state it's in and let them enjoy it in and out. So that's why I bring up the noise ordinance.
Yep.
The issue would be just, if it, going late into the evening and disturbing the abutters, but we can help you. We can certainly be happy to help you get that information.
Okay, great. I will be in touch. Sure.
Great. All right, with that, then let me turn to my colleagues to see if they have any questions. I guess with this application, we will start first with Liz.
Hi, Julia. How are you?
Hi, Liz. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. It sounds like a great event, and I know you do great things at the community center. Just a process question for Chief Jones or Art Robert. So obviously this is approval of a license for Julia Whitney on behalf of the community center. So it's not necessary to do any sort of licenses for each brewery, right?
Is that directed to me?
Or Chief Jones, do you want to answer that?
As long as they're all listed on the application, it should be fine since it's one event with a single application.
Okay, got it. So all the tips, all the certifications are there for everybody.
Yeah, all the breweries sent in their tip certified servers.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect. Great. Well, I see the hours of operation. Is the music going to be inside or outside?
So that's kind of, I guess, when I just saw in the chat, maybe Art Roberts is the man to talk with. That's what we're trying to figure out. Is it okay that we could do it outside to a certain point? And if not, then we will definitely just do it inside. That's fine.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
No other questions. Thanks, Bill.
All right, I'll turn to Joe.
Thank you. And Julia, I am disappointed because I'm going to be away that weekend and will be missing the event. Although it's a happy occasion, my daughter is getting married that weekend. So,
congratulations! You can't miss that.
But your event sounds wonderful. I note on your application that there is no rain date.
That's right.
So I'm hoping for good weather too that weekend.
Thank you.
So what are your plans if in fact we have inclement weather?
So the great thing about the community center is that because it's so large inside with that ballroom in the front reception area, is that even if we do have 100 people there, we are sufficiently qualified to have that many people indoors. So it would be wonderful if we had the, great weather, because people could be outside in the courtyard and see what, the future held. But if it is raining, we're just all going to be inside and we're going to have just as great of a time.
Great. No other questions. The application looks wonderful. Thank you.
Great. All right. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Liz. Let me see if any member of the public has any questions or comments about this application. All right, seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the request for a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Julia Whitney on behalf of the Hingham Community Center for the Back Patio Beer, Wine, and Barbecue fundraising event to be held on Friday, June 17th, 2022 from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor by roll call vote signify by saying aye. Joe?
Aye.
Liz?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well, so the motion passes unanimously. Julia, best of luck with your event. Thanks for what you do for the community center, and have a great evening.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. The next item on the agenda that was previously noticed has been withdrawn. So I'm sorry, it has not. So I'm going to move to item 6, which is to consider approval of a series of special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Stephanie Aquino on behalf of Barrel House Z for the Ware River Sunset Picnics to be held on Thursday, June 30th, July 7th, July 14th, July 21, July 28th, and August 25th, 2022 from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. And I know that previously we were expecting Stephanie Aquino to present, but I did see your note, Mary. Thank you for that in the chat room. Thanks for letting me know. So Mary Heisner is here to make a presentation on behalf of the application. So Mary, I'm going to turn to you and give you the floor. So go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Mary Heisner. My husband and I own Barrel House Z, which is in Weymouth, and we are applying. I know there's a lot of other breweries as well that are at the Ware River Sunset Picnics. Our dates are, as mentioned, starting in the end of June, and we are looking forward to it. We were part of the Sunset Picnic billing last year, but I think we had 3 dates and only one of them actually happened because of weather. So we're looking forward to better weather this go around. We were just there for the big opening day a couple months ago, and it was great. So we are used to this, the setup. We have 2 people that will be there. They're tip certified. We usually we'll follow whatever Ware River. I'm not sure if the protocols have changed this year, but last year we ID'd people, put bracelets on them to make sure that people were of age that were drinking. So, but it's a great night, and we're really looking forward to it.
Mary, thanks very much for the presentation. We do also, again, we do have the Chief of Police on the line with us. So let me turn to Chief Jones and see if he has reviewed the application, if he's comfortable with us proceeding forward tonight. Chief, go ahead.
Good evening again. I have reviewed this application. It is an annual or semi-annual event, I guess, at this point, but it has been done before, and it ran without issue every time. So I have no issues with you moving forward with the application.
Excellent. All right, let me turn to my colleagues, see if they have any questions or comments. Joe, go ahead.
I do have a question. I'm not sure it's for the applicant or if it's for someone in our office. is the applicant Barrel House Z or is it Stephanie? It's not clear on the document. We've got Barrel House Z in parens with Stephanie's name. So to whom does the license go to? Which entity?
But my understanding would be Barrel House Z, but I don't know if you're asking me the question.
No, that's my understanding. I just want to make sure that we know the entity that we're going to be issuing.
Yes, the entity is Barrel House Z. Thank you.
Okay. Because I've looked at the application, and it's consistent with what we've seen for the event. I've got no questions. It looks great. The one question that I had previously concerned parking, but we've got the parking lot that's being provided. So I think this will be wonderful. No questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on Joe's question, Mary, does Stephanie, does she work for Barrel House Z? Or
yes.
She's one of your employees.
She's the events director, and she had a family issue at the last minute, so asked me to step in.
Okay, that's what I thought as well. Okay, great. All right, let me turn to Liz. Go ahead.
I really don't have any questions. I'm familiar with the event, and I know Mary, Barrel House Z has participated in many events at Ware River Farm very successfully. So so no concerns on the application. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Joe and Liz. Let me see if anybody has any comments or questions regarding this application. I don't see anybody with their hand raised. So with that, I will entertain a motion.
So before making the motion, I just want to clarify, because the motion we have talks about issuing the license to Stephanie Aquino on behalf of Barrel House Z. And it sounds like the license is actually going to Barrel House Z. Am I correct on that?
I would think yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So I'll make a motion to approve the request for a series of special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Barrel House Z for the Ware River Sunset Picnics to be held on Thursday, June 30th, July 7th, July 14th, July 21st, July 28th, and August 25th, 2022 from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor signify by roll call vote. Liz?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. The motion carries unanimously. Mary, best of luck with the event. Just wanted to say, it's great to see you and Russ and Barrel House Z doing so well. And
thank you.
I know you live here in town, and
yes,
just thrilled you guys are doing so well. So
thank you very much
going forward. And,
okay.
And good luck with your event.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda, the previously been noticed, has been withdrawn. So I'm going to move to item previously noted as 7, which is to appoint the chair and vice chair of the Human Rights Commission. And I would note that normally we allow boards and commissions to elect their own leadership, but the statute under which we are operating requires a select board to make the appointments for leadership of this particular committee. So before we move forward with this, I want just to check for Joe and Liz. Are you comfortable proceeding with this item tonight, Joe?
I am. I do want to offer a suggestion, which is that normally boards, our board, zoning board, other boards, the chair is often elected for 1 year, and then the board may be organized, or that they may ultimately decide to stay with that chair. And since this is a new board, I'm going to recommend, subject to my colleagues' comments, that when we do make the appointments, that the appointments be for a term ending June 30th of the following year, subject to ultimate reappointment or a new appointment by the select board.
I think that's fine. Liz, your thoughts?
I think that's a good idea. To Joe's point, since this is new, I think it makes sense for us to reevaluate at the end of the year and and also see how the people on the commission feel about it, and if there's any reason to reorganize. So I'm comfortable with that, saying it's a 1-year term.
Okay, great. I would just ask maybe Michelle or Art just to note that and just to notify Sharon. So a year from now, we'll have to either reappoint new leadership or keep the current chair and vice chair in their roles. But obviously, we'd have to take action a year from today on our appointments of leadership of the HRC.
Sure, we can do that.
All right, thank you. All right, with that, if Joe and Liz, it sounds like you're comfortable proceeding. So why don't we move forward? I would just guess I'm going to entertain a motion on the chair position first. So I'll let one of you proceed.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Stephen Leary as the chair of the Human Rights Commission for a term ending June 30th of 2023 or until his successor is appointed.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Roll call vote. Joe.
Aye.
Liz.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. All right, so the chair has been appointed. We now next move to a vote on the vice chair. And with that, then I will entertain a motion for the vice chair of the Human Rights Commission.
I will make a motion to appoint Tien Do Suarez as the vice chair of the Human Rights Commission for a term ending June 30th, 2023, or until her successor is appointed.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All right, is there need for further discussion? Not hearing any. Roll call vote. Liz.
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well, so the motion carries unanimously. Mike, congratulations to Steve and to Tien. I know they'll be great, and I appreciate them being drafted into service. So
I would have put that we appreciate them stepping up.
Yeah, stepping up. Excellent. They'll be great. It's going to be a great committee, great commission, and I'm looking forward to the great work that everybody is going to do on that commission going forward. All right. All right, next item on the agenda is to consider approval of the American Rescue Plan Act grant agreement with Plymouth County. I think we have Michelle who's going to take the lead on this for us. So Michelle, whenever you're ready, you have the floor.
Thank you, Bill. So this is a standard grant agreement that Plymouth County is using with their member communities to disperse American Rescue Plan Act or ARPA funds that the county has received from the federal government. I know there's a lot of different pots of ARPA funds that we've talked about. There's 2 that the town is getting directly from the federal government through the state, and those pots have been applied to the FY22 and FY23 budgets. Then there's also 2 pots from Plymouth County as additional resources available to the town. One is for revenue replacement, and those funds are being applied to the FY23 budget. But this separate pot here that this grant agreement applies to, so far Plymouth County is releasing about $1.2 million to Hingham. That's in their first phase of this. I assume or anticipate that more will be released, but Plymouth County has not let us know when they anticipate doing that. So to access these funds, we would need the select board to agree to these terms. I did run them through John Coughlin. He has no issues with them as they are standard. It requires that we would be applying for funds to Plymouth County for eligible expenses between March of 2021 through June of 2024, or there's a potential extension through December of 2024. So we do have some time to plan the use of these funds. We would need to report quarterly to the county and do a closeout report for each grant application that we submit. And they administer the program in different ways. But right now we have 3 main projects that we're looking at. One would be to get reimbursed for the costs that the town incurred for the COVID-19 testing center that we had opened earlier this year. I believe you all know that the CARES program, those federal funds, that all ended in December of last year. So this is kind of the current COVID funding resources that we have. But there's some broader categories too. The second one that we're considering would be a stormwater master plan that we're working with DPW on developing, so we could use these funds to move that forward. And that's an environmental program focused on cleaning up the waterways in town. And then the third one would be HVAC improvements, specifically replacing air handler units in our schools and some municipal facilities. That one we're still trying to get our hand around the costs, but that would be to improve some of the air quality and ventilation, and is another way to put these funds to use for some capital improvements that we might otherwise not be able to fund. So that's our plan right now, and this is the first step at being able to access these funds through Plymouth County.
Michelle, thanks for the presentation. I guess I'll lead off here real quick. Where are we with available funds, and how much have we accessed to these new funds, or being the liaison for Plymouth County, I know we were doing pretty well last time I checked with accessing the funds that were available to us, but wanted to see if you know where we are in terms of what was available to us and how we're doing with getting, as much possible funding as we're eligible for.
Sure. So through the CARES program that they first administered, that the first pot of COVID relief funds, we applied for reimbursement for our full amount, which was about 3.7 million. I forget the exact breakdown, but the vast majority, around 80%, went to supporting the schools, and the other 20% went to supporting municipal departments. And that was really in the more acute phase of COVID, when we all had to shift our operations, and the schools in particular needed resources to be able to do that over there. Now through the ARPA program, we have not, besides the smaller pot of funds, about $473,000 from Plymouth County for lost revenue. That money is being applied to the FY23 budget process. Those are part of the one-time funds that we use to balance this coming fiscal year's budget. This pot of 1.1, 1.2, we have not accessed yet, so it's sort of a new resource for us. And so we're, hopefully there'll be additional tranches, but this is the first step to putting those funds to use.
Great. Well, appreciate you, accessing these funds. I know that the ability to get their ARPA funds is a little more complicated than the CARES money. The CARES money, I know the application process is a little more fluid. Here, you have to match the money with the 4 or 5 areas in which it can be used, but certainly we want to get every dollar we can get. So thank you for your efforts, Michelle. It's much appreciated, and particularly this next year we will need the funding sources. So thank you for that. Let me turn to Joe to see if you have any questions or comments.
Yeah, so thank you for your work on this. This is nice to get a chunk of change into the town. So am I correct that what is being allocated currently is approximately 25% of the total available?
That's right. They talk about a phase 1 25% allocation. So I'm hopeful that we'll see 3 more allocations of a similar size, but it also depends on how much other member communities use, because sometimes Plymouth County will reallocate funds that other communities aren't using.
Yep. And is the allocation, as I'm looking at it, it appears to be based pro rata on relative populations. Is that correct?
Yes, that's my understanding.
And do you know why the year 2019 was the key year for determining populations?
I'm not sure if that was the last one available, or I'd have to go back to the ARPA final rule and see if that's part of the U.S. Treasury guidance to use that as a parameter.
Only because we just did the 2020 census, and so I do know that there's more recent data available. So I just didn't know what the magic was, if at all, if any, for the 2019 date.
I can check on that.
Yeah. Okay. No other questions. This looks good, and I believe that we should move forward with this. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Liz, any questions or comments?
Thank you, Michelle, for following up on this and managing it. Certainly, we want to access as much funds as we can. And I understand this is the first part of the process in terms of kind of the standard agreement. And just to reiterate, the 1.1 million is not just kind of money that we can apply to the operating budget. We have to actually apply very specific projects to get access to this money. And then, do you have any idea if we'll have to do this sort of agreement for each round, or is this is to kind of start the process for all future rounds, do you think?
I don't believe we have to do it again. I confirm with Plymouth County, but I think this is for the American Rescue Plan Act funds in general that they're making available through this program. What you saw attached to it were the terms and conditions, and those we have to agree to in each application as we apply for pieces of this money. But I don't anticipate the select board needing to execute a new agreement unless they change their provisions.
Right. Okay. And you and I had spoken about one of the audit requirements. Do you want to just so people know that?
Sure. The only comment then that town council made when he reviewed this was that I think it's section 3.8 talks about a federal audit, that if the town spends more than $750,000 in federal funds in a given year, we're subject to this single audit requirement. But I confirmed that with the town accountant that we're already subject to that requirement, so it doesn't add any additional processes for us.
Great, thank you. Excellent, no further questions, thank you.
All right, thank you, Joe and Liz. Let me see if there are any members of the public who have any questions or comments. Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Before making the motion, are we approving this, or are we authorizing, and are we authorizing the town administrator to sign it?
I believe this one requires the select board to approve it. So
got it.
There's
okay.
a signature place for all three of you.
Okay. Then I'll move to approve the grant agreement with Plymouth County to access American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds allocated to the town of Hingham by Plymouth County.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote. Joe.
Aye.
Liz.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. The motion carries unanimously. Michelle, thanks for your work on this. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is appointments. I believe there are no additional appointments tonight. The two appointments that were scheduled were the ones for leadership of the HRC. Those have already been made. So next is the COVID-19 update. And I think, Art, you're going to take the lead on this tonight. So when you are ready, Art, you have the floor.
Thank you, Bill. Last Thursday, the Federal Centers for Disease Control determined that Plymouth County's COVID-19 presence is now at medium, down from high over the past few weeks. That decision to downgrade our community presence levels, driven by data collected, and is consistent with other data we've seen for Hingham that point to a decline in cases over the past few weeks. At medium, the CDC does not recommend indoor masks. As such, we are removing signs with this recommendation from the exterior doors on town buildings. While this is an improvement, COVID-19 does persist, and at the medium community presence level, the CDC recommendations include: if you are at high risk for severe illness, talk to your healthcare provider about whether you need to wear a mask and take other precautions. Stay up to date with COVID-19 vaccines and get tested if you have symptoms. Going forward, we will be providing updates based on a change in the CDC's community presence level, and we are hoping that the overall situation continues to improve for the community and the region.
All right, thank you very much. See if anybody has any questions. Liz.
No questions. Thank you, Art.
Joe.
No questions. Thank you.
Any members of the public? Seeing none. Thank you, Art. All right, next item on the agenda is public comment. The Hingham Select Board encourages community engagement and welcomes questions and comments as agenda items are discussed at the meeting. In addition, we have set aside up to 15 minutes for public comment for items that fall under the purview of the Select Board and are not already on tonight's agenda. If any guest wishes to speak, please seek to be recognized. Once recognized, state your name and address and address your comments to the chair. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker and must relate to topics within the scope of the Select Board. Speakers are encouraged to present their remarks in a respectful manner and not to engage in personalities. Public comment period is not a time for debate by members of the Select Board. The Select Board is not adopting or endorsing any comments made during the public comment period. Let me see if anybody would like to present any public comment this evening. I don't see any hands up. Okay, with that, I'll move to our last item on the agenda, which is Town Administrator Select Board Reports. So with that, I'll start with Art. Art, any reports tonight?
Nothing additional to add tonight, Bill. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, Michelle.
Nothing this evening. Thank you.
Joe.
Nothing this evening. Thank you.
Liz.
Just want to say congratulations to the Hingham High School class of 2022. We had the pleasure of attending graduation last Saturday, and it was a wonderful event. All of the students were seemed overjoyed and seemed like such a wonderful class, really focused on kindness and inclusion. And the student speakers were very, very impressive. So that's it.
Excellent. Yeah, I was at graduation as well. My congratulations to the class also. And this Friday evening, there is a fundraiser for SNAP in town, which always promises to be a great event. It's a great organization. Looking forward to attending that on Friday night. And that's all I have. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. Roll call vote. Liz.
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. The motion carries unanimously. This meeting is adjourned. Hope everybody has a great rest of the week. I'll see you all this weekend. Take care.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Recording
Thanks. Good night, everyone.
stopped.
Good night. Thank you.